I would probably prefer being in a like a different campaign or something.
Like a whole different campaign, totally
Yeah,
different thing, something new.
yeah,
Yeah, I can kind of. That's kind of where I was at. Like, if we're gonna do a brand new characters, brand new campaign.
This is my favorite setting, though. I like Dark Sun.
Yeah. I started Ninja, I started exploring the one I was talking about building.
Hmm.
I started exploring that again.
What do you mean exploring it?
Um
Like, are you working on your own campaign? You mean?
no, I mean, I never really got started with it. Because no one was, we weren't gonna stop this one, so I didn't want to start a whole new one. But I meant like the whole foundry and building the AI into the foundry and all that stuff that they've been doing. I was looking into that stuff, and D&D Beyond actually updated their stuff
Mm-hmm.
to make it more compatible for that. And the new books, that was kind of confusing to me. I don't know if you saw that, but they have
Yeah,
new 2024 rules.
I've watched some videos about the changes. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I don't know.
Like I saw the new barbarian. It changes the way stuff. I think it's closer to the more grit and glory stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, some of the weapon stuff seems like Grit and Glory a little bit.
yeah. So like for barbarians, the new barbarians,
It's
they
hit or
can
miss though. Did you see the Paladin? The Paladin really sucks.
I didn't see that one. I just saw the barbarian
王
one.
国軍
Basically
が
the
宝石
reckless.
爆弾で襲撃されたらしいぜ。おかげでウェーブランは大混乱だ。
Nande?
What the fuck? The
Yeah,
barbarians
the new
can.
game I'm playing doesn't have any English audio. There's only Japanese, Korean, or Chinese, unfortunately.
Baka, baka, baka.
The the barbarian reckless attack. You can choose to not get advantage, and instead you can throw weapon die or get damage dice on it, like
Yeah.
the D10,
That's one of the things I did like.
and
Like the
you can
Paladin, they can
also.
only smite once now, once per turn. Like the Rogue can only sneak attack once per turn.
And when you do the brutal
Wait, are you
strike,
guys
you
talking
have
about like 6th edition or something?
Yeah, yeah, the updated rules.
no. They're not calling it sixth edition.
That's
They're
what it is.
calling it
no,
5.5.
They just don't
nah,
want to put a
What?
number to it
5.5?
because
yeah. It's
it'll
D&D
hurt their
one.
business.
But if you do the it's called a brutal strike instead of with a reckless attack. If you do a brutal strike, you can also you can do
I mean,
pushback and you can knock them prone. Those kinds of things.
Psy Warrior
how's
can
that
already do
different
that.
from people just taking like -10 to their to
That's a
hit
feat.
and then +10 damage?
That's a feat.
Yeah.
I think the Psy Warrior gets that at 3rd level. Like a Jedi, you can just force push people.
Yeah. So
It was by the way.
I have a feat. I have a feat called bludgeoner, and I can knock people back by 5 feet every time I hit. But this one, I can choose to not get advantage if I do a reckless attack, and instead I can push back like 10 feet.
That's like when Liu Kang does his flying bicycle kick. He kicks them back by 5 feet. Get it? Get it? It's a Mortal Kombat joke.
I get it. Because he does 5 bicycle kicks.
Yes. Exactly. This guy gets it. Chris,
Sounds like a turkey.
can I get blacked?
Yeah, give me a second.
That sounds so bad.
What?
I knew what you're going for. Like, get out of my head.
I tell jokes here. I try to be funny. All right, so let me load up the Tyrian map. Back in Tyr where we were the week before.
Oh.
Alright, so the Tyrian region, just to do a quick recap here, we've got some situations going on in the world, just so everybody's aware. We've got the tablelands that stretch from west to east here in the great city of Tyr, where freedom reigns. You control a vast swath here. However, you are opposed by Uruk, you are opposed by Dradge way up here to the northeast. You are opposed by Balak way down here to the south.
I am late.
You are opposed by the Urdraxans far to the east out in the Silt Sea. You have one ally, the Nibanaeans, and they are at war with the Gulgans, and they are also at war with Dragoth and Guistanel, and they are also at war with the Gith from the Black Spine Mountains. There's a whole lot going on in this side of the world. Your allies.
Is it just me, or the whole map thing is white?
It shows up for me.
Am I supposed to click something that like lets me see the image?
What I can do is I can cut paste it. Did that help?
It says it's still white, and then there's a error message thingy in the game
Yeah,
chat.
reload.
It says discordapp.com attachment something something
I want
JPG.
to reload.
Well, that's a bummer.
Oh, the whole tabletop game? Okay,
Yeah.
let me...
Pretty sure I have the image loaded up on Imgur, and I could get the link. And we could reload it from the link. In case it was loaded from, like, Discord or something, because Discord doesn't keep images.
Not for
Why?
Like, after a certain period of time, like, everything just, like, all those images stored in the Discord go away. They're temporary files. So if you use a file from Discord in Tabletop Simulator, it'll eventually break the link. Missing files
That's
and all that.
distressing.
Which is why I always use an image host like Imgur, where I can upload the files and then I just get a link. Hey, Chris, I have this link here. I'm going to drop it in Discord. That's the image that's supposed to be on this board right here. Could you hit custom and paste that image on it?
Copy link.
And then when Long loads it, it should work.
It says that there is a matching one.
Yeah, I can see the map now.
Cool. So I was just kind of doing the broad tactical understanding that you've got enemies to the south, you've got enemies to the north, you've got enemies all around. You basically just have one ally, and they are fighting a war on three fronts, making things rather difficult.
Isn't our ally also a bastard?
Yes, Nibane is one of the Sorcerer Kings, so
Isn't Disverendi in these mountains over here?
Desverendi is right here.
Okay, I was like, what is this yellow X and this black line thing?
I think that's the Iron Mines, probably. Or that could be Desverendi's
Oh,
place.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
It's one of the places we've been before, for sure.
This is the ballpark of where Desverendi is, like, located, though, up in the mountains to the north. So, you've had two major victories. You drove back the armies of Uruk, and you've driven back the armies of Balak, who had advanced all the way to Altaruk. And, well, actually, we'll call it a third victory, because you defeated the Forest Maker, which turned out to be Tektut Title, the Sorcerer King of Dradge, so that's sort of a war against Dradge as well. But there are many enemies, and if they join forces against you, you know how formidable they can be. they teamed up to destroy Dragoth, and you had a whole adventure in the ruins of Giustanel, and you saw how much damage the combined power of 7 Sorcerer Kings can, like, lay waste to a city. So, Tyr is not 100% safe, but you've had a lot of victories, and there's relative peace in the land, and you are between adventures, and you have a little downtime where you can choose to do whatever you want with the vast fortune that you've stolen from the King of Drage.
Yeah, we're gonna cause some inflation in the world.
Okay, I can go to the other map now. Let me find it.
We're gonna bring Tyr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going back to the city map. It's giving me error messages, but it looks like it loaded alright.
Yep.
I could have sworn I got rid of this last week. I wonder if it didn't save.
Last week you crashed, and we couldn't save anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really do a whole lot on the board that
No.
we needed.
No.
Alright.
No, it's probably where our characters were. We don't have the ship here though.
That's alright. Use your imagination. The airship is just like parked up on there. Unless you want to dig out your file. You had the cool looking airship model.
Oh, the little
I wonder if
yeah.
I saved it. I could check.
Most likely, yeah.
Airship. No, I just have a
Okay.
bag of airship crew. I don't think it has the airship model itself.
I was in mental recovery mode. I was kind of passively absorbing knowledge.
Gotcha.
But what are we attempting to do right now?
Nope, that file doesn't load.
What?
We're in town and we're in between adventures. So really this is like a role-playing focused sort of investigation mode where you're in the city and you can investigate the various shops and NPCs that you
Oh,
can
I
talk
remembered
to.
something. Sorry, the guy I gave the money, has he done anything with it yet?
Who are you talking about?
The homeless wanderer man, poverty vow guy.
I actually lost my notes about that. I wanted to talk to you about that again. You gave, if I recall, it was like 300 gold, right?
No, that's me.
it
Oh,
was you.
oh yeah, sorry.
No, I thought.
I give
I
300 gold for my own thing. I don't know what it'd be.
Yeah, I think he also, if I'm not incorrect.
It was like I spent 500 roughly, but half of it was for. Right, no, I remember. Half of it was
Half for
wands,
Some of it
and then
was
the
for
other
charity.
half was. And the other half was, give this to where you think.
And it
be
was
best.
Dorges. You wanted Dorges made, right?
Yeah, I wanted 30. I ordered the 33 dirges. Or so.
Mass-produced psionic wands. All right. Yeah, I lost my notes. I'm not sure where I wrote it down. I thought I wrote it down somewhere, but I'll add this back into my notes now. So, I did add Rosto to my shop page. Let me bring up the shop page here. Put it up on stream. So, one of the things that I did during the week is I added the psionic shops. Let's see, this is sectional, so Rosto's in the Warrens, so I'm going to scroll down to the Warrens. Old Arosto, he is the psionic tattoo man, and he runs several forms of charity. So Arosto says that the children of the Warrens need better nutrition. A loaf of bread and some water isn't enough for growing bodies. He wants support for the next generation, so he's going to be spending some of the money you donate on feeding the poor. Then he starts.
I donated like 250 gold to him, so that should help.
Yeah, for sure. 250 GP. But it'll probably be divided up because he's got other things too. So he goes on to say, We must acquire reparations for the former slaves. Those who have been made free are no better off than before. In many cases, they need help to make a new life for themselves. So he's basically talking about the people that used to be slaves and are now free, but are basically penniless and living in similar conditions, maybe renting from their former owner in a debt slave sort of situation. So it's barely freedom, and so he wants to bring real freedom to people by elevating them, helping them create their own businesses and lead their own lives. So some of the money he would like to devote to that. And then finally he says the Widow's Fund for those who died in the Ravager attack on the main gates when the meteors fell from the sky and smashed buildings and the front gates. So the widows of the dead who were fighting in the front lines of the epic battle against the Ravager, they're sort of making sure that the wives and the children of those soldiers are taken care of. So those are the things that he's concerned with, and he's going to be splitting up the money into those three charities.
Yep, all sounds good to me. And don't forget to tell them the winged elephant sent you.
Alright, you want to make a point that this comes from the Wind God.
The winged elephant, specifically.
Yeah. W-E. For short. I added a ridiculous item to Orosto here. He's got more spell slots than he should.
Sorry, what did you do?
I gave him this item called the Twin Rings of Epic Psionic Endurance. You need to attune to both of them, but it gives you a ton of bonus spell slots. So he's just casting spells all day long.
It sounds like a possession to me. How did he get his hands on that?
It's a unique artifact. Got it from his time in the Order, many, many moons ago.
Who is this?
So of all the scions in the city, he's got the most endurance. He can cast spells like all day long and never get tired.
We're gonna build a keep and house some of the newly freed slaves, and then they could work for us, but maybe we give them better conditions than the previous slave owners.
Yeah, that's something
Are
I
we
wanted
using
to discuss
FY5?
Yeah, so that's free year 5, so it's like time. So the free year 4 page I left there because some of the items didn't carry over, but it's basically just like the new shops are the updated ones, and if you need something from the old shops, it's still there.
Okay.
But for the most part, try to use the new ones, unless there's something missing. Because a lot has changed, like the elves got wiped out by the Urdraxans, and then you brought in new elves. So the balance of power among the elven tribes has changed a lot in Tyr.
Oh, right, I was making a road, wasn't I?
Yeah, you wanted to spend some money on roads? Okay, something I wanted to discuss a little bit is now that you are high level, this is the period in D&D where everybody basically is allowed to create their stronghold and build their guild and create their own armies and become like the master of their own holdings, and all of that stuff is kind of like just sort of open-ended. So you are free to do basically whatever you want. You're all like ridiculously wealthy in Dark Sun terms. So that should be more than enough money to build your own castles, dig your own mines, and set yourself up as lords. Because that's what your characters would be at this point. You are on par with the book heroes of Tyr, like Sidira. Like you're all comparable in power. You've personally fought Sorcerer Kings, so this is definitely the point where you would be just because of your fame and your power, you would just be wealthy, and you would have a lot of people coming to you trying to make offers about businesses and trying to join you because they just want to join a powerful force, you know? Strong leaders tend to inspire a lot of loyalty among like fighting men. Like all of the gladiators would follow Taurus anywhere because he's the champion of the Tyrian gladiator games.
I never even freaking thought of that. You can just pull a summon the Count's move and just call the entire arena to his freaking aid.
Yes, exactly. So that stuff doesn't show up on your character sheet, but it's very important. Like it's like a big role-playing NPC thing that you have that's just not like a physical thing listed. But it's powerful and useful. So if you need the gladiators, he can call on them because he is the champion.
I kind of started that move, I guess, with some of my actions.
And you've got your fire temple.
Yeah, and then all the pilgrimage that I've been financing and sending out to all the other temples.
Yeah.
I'm using
Grimorn has
that
done the most organizing and the most recruiting. So because there's so many people that are poor and unskilled in tier, and I'll do like a bit of a callback to way at the beginning when you were in the the second adventure where you were at war with Ulrich. If you recall, the armies that you fielded in that big battle, they were kind of pathetic, right? Like you had 100 men that were just wearing peasant clothes with spears, like simple farm implements. You had some that were powerful, like 5th level fighters, but they were the merchant guards, and there were only like 20 of them in a unit. So at this point, it would probably be a good idea to actually like form like large-scale armies and equip them, so that when that happens again, when there's a major war against one of the Sorcerer Kings, you can field your own armies and not have to rely on Senator Traxus or Senator Tirthani or your friend Aegis. He's supplied a lot of material goods, but he makes wine. He's not a mercenary lord, so he can't provide a whole lot of, boots on the ground kind of help.
We reached the civilization part of this protracted game of Spore.
Yeah, it's become a 4X game instead of just an RPG.
I'm just making titles for myself right now so I can keep track of the various things that I run in quotation marks.
Another aspect of the sort of strategy game that this is becoming is that the war that's going on in Nibene is going to require a lot of resources. As an ally of Nibene, you'll probably want to help bring shipments of weapons, armor, and food over to Nibene. You were headed that way anyway. I know some of you plan to go to Nibene next as your next course of action. So since you're going that way anyway, and the shops in town know that there's a lot of business to be had, so they're mass producing these weapons and armors to send to Nibene. So you could buy them from the local shops, sell them in Nibene's markets, make some profit, help the war effort, and that would be like you'd almost be, don't tell Orin this, but you'd almost be like your own merchant house.
Mm-hmm.
What's our house name?
Currently, you're under the patronage
No,
of
like-
House Astocles, but he's not a merchant house per se. He's just a wine baron.
No. What we can have our own merchant house.
Yeah, so you can name it whatever you want, but you'll probably
Hey,
squabble
guys,
over whose name is going to be the one.
I want to do a funny thing. Do the thing I'm doing, and just give yourselves a bunch of titles to remember all the stuff that you have done and plan and want to do. Like,
So what I was talking
Tor-
about is I want to build House Maximus and start building a professional army.
Then you would be like Lord of House Maximus and King of the Arena. It's just a fun thing to do, I think. I think you'd like it.
Yeah. I was thinking Ninja, since I'm not really worried about the mountains and the gem mine and all that stuff, really.
Mhm.
I want to do something between Tyr and Nibene, like a halfway point.
Sure. You might want to.
And
You might want to team up with Taro. Taro's already organizing something along those lines.
Organizing what? My attention shifted.
Okay. Taurus says that he wants to build an outpost midway between Tyr and Nibene. And what you want to do is restore Othend, which is halfway between Tyr and Nibene. So you are both actually working on the same thing. You just didn't know it.
I like to think that some random dude just came into both of our offices saying, "What's going on here? What's your plan? All these resources going to the same place."
So
Where
he wants to build a road. He needs to build 20 miles of road through open desert from Silver Springs to Othend Ruins, and then he wants to rebuild the Othend Ruins into a proper wind temple. And that's just north of Gulg, and Gulg is just west of Nibene, so it's pretty close. It's in the ballpark. It's probably a little further than the halfway point, but it's out there.
Oh, wait a second. We're level 17 now, aren't we? I forgot.
Yep.
I was
Did you
wondering why
level
that
your
looked
character up?
wrong.
Make sure you level your character up.
No, I'm going. I was wondering, like, man, I felt like we made more progress.
Yeah, I remember
Mm.
you get 9th
Hey,
level
ninja.
spells at this level. There was some discussion about the 9th level spells and how powerful they are.
Ninja,
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Cool. So, Joe, tell me about this House Maximus. What are your plans? What do you want to do? Are you going to just hire a bunch of people? Like, is it a gladiator ludus or what?
So specifically, I want to be a martial house, focusing on an army. You know, light on the elemental support. You know, we'll support everybody's beliefs and stuff, but specifically building, training, and a standing army and housing them and everything. And then I will personally, well, not necessarily me every time, but I want to personally build or make instruction for them to get them fighting at my standards. And I would like to use like some of the well-known what do you call them, gladiators and stuff, to teach them practical fighting, not just, you know, typical military formations. Like actually be able to everyone be considered a champion. You know,
You want
like
to
they could all
raise the
fight.
bar?
Yeah, I want like the premier level army. I want you know, if I said I had a century, right? The entire century are like their own gladiator.
So what I typed
They're
is
at that
that
caliber.
you want to construct training grounds and you want to recruit gladiators to be like the trainers that train your unskilled mercenaries that you hire into skilled mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you might want to also consider equipment. So what sort of gear are you going to buy for them?
Mm-hmm. So that's where the civilians will come in at the fort. Is that we will, you know, hire civilians. The whole thing is we will do practical training as well as on the job training. These guys are also going to act as um patrol between Tyr and Nibide.
And for that, you might want to work with Orin. He's got a massive herd of kanks. You could train the kanks and the troops at the same time to make cavalry. A cavalry unit is way stronger than an infantry unit.
But yeah, so
Or like Ramorna's doing, you could buy war chariots. War chariot is even more powerful than a cavalry unit.
Yeah. Especially when there's fire priests behind shooting fireballs.
but that's all I got so far. The whole details are kind of
Hey, Chris, do
blurry.
you want to go over what your plans were?
Who?
Your plans. Do you want to go over
Me?
them for everybody?
Oh, yeah. So I spent a significant amount of money to start pilgrims of fanatics and clerics to go all around the world and spread the word of the Lord of the Flame and how strong their church is becoming. Try to attract more people from all villages, that might be interested, or try to see if there's people that have heard of people surviving, fire incidents and things like that. Anything that could be a sign of being marked by the Lord of Flames. To recruit more clerics. Also to go to all of the shrines around the world, using that map that Nimue has provided, like he gave me at some point, showing all the shrines that are in Attis. To retrieve as many fighters as possible, like clerics and all, and maybe also in Tyr, since the church has been there for a while. I'm sure it has brought in more people and more interest to the religion. Then I am spending a bunch of money also in Tyr to build statue of the Lord of Flames and symbols, like religious symbols to give away to the people that are coming by the church, and to spread through Tyr the image of the Temple of Flames. That I haven't sent you an amount yet, because I'm not exactly sure.
So, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, there's a period when the main city has sort of like a religious leader that almost takes over. He's got as much power as the king.
Yeah.
That's sort of what's happening in Tyr now that
Yeah,
Tyr
the
is
shame.
becoming like sort of ruled by fire clerics. They're everywhere. They're here in much larger numbers than in any other city, due to the fire temple and your recruitment efforts. So that's probably actually going to cause some problems, because fire clerics tend to be kind of fiery tempered and zealous. So there might be crime and arson problems associated with this.
Yeah, we can
Can I
control the
tell
flame.
Can I tell my cult to try to balance them out?
You can try.
But there's also to train them and to try to string the force there, to use that strength for the upcoming battle. Like whoever I'm gonna be providing into the combat would be clerics. I'm not gonna start training soldiers and stuff like that. I still want to contribute still to Tyr by fabricating weapons for the Templars. And keeping good relationship with the Templars. Even providing clerics, to the city of Tyr for, to use for policing the city. I don't try to overuse my power, politically, Ninja. It's mostly just to boost the presence of the Lord of Flame, and to make sure that people accept the temple that is right outside the city,
Yeah.
which is pretty big now.
Yeah, you haven't stepped on any toes, and none of the noble houses have opposed you, although they are wary of your growing influence and power in the city.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I can burn them for crime of capitalism. Um,
Ownership is theft.
and
what about the other elemental houses?
and but I still have the church, helping the poor with the farms around the church. Morg has been involved in that too. But we keep these lands fertile to help the church, but also help the poor, because I always wanted to help them in the city after the liberation. Um, Now, what else? What I was doing? The other thing
Is it
was
safe?
was that
Is it safe to be a water cleric in Tyr right now?
I'm not trying to cause problem with other religions.
Well,
But
that's what I was
Okay.
saying. So, due
Yeah.
to the increase in fire zealotry in Tyr, it's actually caused a 2% rise in crime, where conflicts have arisen between fire clerics and the regular people. And so, yeah, that could be like a fire cleric encountering a water cleric and having a
yeah,
heated argument that resulted in hurling spells at each other. That sort of thing would happen.
but I have also, though, on the other hand, tried to reach out to other churches, like other, including the one of water, because I want to have the battleship with different clerics of all the elements for the large battleship that's being built there. And I don't know how long that's going to take, but can we assume that after that full year that the larger ship will be done, or is it going to take longer?
I think they don't take that long to build. Hang on.
Well, it's a bigger one. Like, it's more of a experimental, like just there's different like ship classes. Like let's say it's a destroyer, uh, destroyer type, or whatever, and the one we're trying to build is going to be like the big bird, huh?
Trying to think how the crafting time would be. It would be like whatever the cost of the ship is. How much did the ship cost? It was like, I don't know, 200,000 or something.
Yeah, we increased it by a bunch just to
No,
try
20,000.
to.
It was
yeah.
it was like 200 gold when you put all of it together, I think.
Um,
And then
what
that's
was that?
divided by like how many people are working on it, and then they can work 50 ceramic pieces per 8-hour shift. Okay, so if I take that and let's see, how many people were working on it? Wasn't that happening in Nibene? Or was it happening here?
Well, it's always split, because in Nibene we have the wooden part made, like the body. At the temple we make the crystal that makes the ship fly.
Gotcha.
And then we had Oren's family to work on the fabric for the air balloon.
We probably don't have a note about how many workers were working on it, huh?
No, I think we just send the idea, send a bunch of money, and not really go over the fine detail. And I imagine like the clerics that are all going to be on board, that are going to be kind of leading, are going to be a little higher level than the average soldier.
I think in a year's time it would definitely get done. In a year's time, you could probably finish 2 of the regular ships, but maybe just 1 of the bigger ship.
Yeah, but the idea is just to make one big one, and then we can fly around it, or it's going to be assisting a lot in the air while the battles are happening. They can, with that attitude, like flying at upper altitude, it can be used a lot too, like in the First World War, where you're using air balloons to, look at the troops coming. Well, pretty much do air surveillance and stuff like that.
Or you could be bombers. You could hurl bombs over the side from a great height.
Yeah, and ballistas and all that shit,
Because of the magic levitation, they can carry a lot of weight, so you can just throw weights over the end, drop anchors on people. Actually, an anchor would be ridiculously expensive if it's made out of iron.
Nah, just rocks. It's
It'd be like throwing a solid gold anchor at somebody. Catch.
What was the other parts? Yeah, I did wanted to put a bounty on like some information for magical items, but I was looking more for those books of like books of wisdom, which is probably pretty rare. But I'd give a good reward to whoever could point me in the right direction.
Well, you already have access to the library of the Veiled Alliance, which probably has quite a few books in it. You could potentially get access to the library in Nibene's Shadow Quarter, but he's not too happy to let people into his inner city, as you well know. But you could ask. Mainly, Sorcerer Kings have big libraries.
And we did collect a lot of these books too from this last Sorcerer King that we fooled around with.
Yeah. Tektite Titlay's library. If you snagged all those spell books, you could have brought those back to the Veiled Alliance for study. Many powerful spells were contained within them. They would still be trying to figure out what some of them do. Many of them in the Veiled Alliance aren't powerful enough to cast those spells, and they're kind of stumped about them.
I'm not too interested in the spells. That would be more for other people. But I'm more looking like for these tomes of that you can use to like increase your like one ability or something.
Right.
Like a training book.
The Wisdom book.
Yeah.
Those are incredibly rare. I was actually surprised that both of the books were included in the last adventure. I was like, damn, they are just throwing high-level treasures at the party in this one. Yeah. The Naga had the Book of Vile Darkness, and then you recovered the Holy Book. But those are kind of like one-of-a-kind artifacts. You're unlikely to find another one.
Yeah. Because I don't really know what to look for when it comes to magical items.
Well, you've already found the Scorcher, and the other one that I'd recommend is the Fire Drake's Egg.
Yeah.
The Fire Drake's Egg is not an actual egg, but it's an artifact that controls fire drakes.
Well,
Can I have some chainmail, magical type?
Do you wish to buy a chainmail, a magical chainmail?
Yes.
It's going to be really expensive if you get a steel one.
where could I find that egg?
Ah, that's a mystery. Nobody knows. Lost artifacts. You need to do a lot of research, ask a lot of questions in a lot of places.
But I'm gonna spend some time then on that during the year. I'm gonna start with the sword.
Do you mean a chain shirt or an actual chainmail?
I meant chainmail, like the armor.
Okay. Let's see. What's 200 times 75?
Also, how much would it cost me to make my shield become one of those floating ones?
About 8,000. It's going to cost you 150 gold, Taro.
150?
150 gold coins.
What does it do?
It's just chainmail. It gives you an armor class of 16.
Chainmail.
So, they can have it enchanted. Let me look at the prices on magic armor real quick.
You say 8,000 gold?
I think so.
That's too
Wait,
much.
8,000? I thought you said like 120.
No, no.
No, for
Two different
mine.
conversations going on here. Ignore his
Oh, sorry.
conversation. Armor.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend another 300 gold on statues and all these things for the city of Tyr.
Saying
architecture.
6,000 for a +2 armor. It'd be 24,000 for a +3 armor. So, all right. If you want to get the best of the best, you'd get a +3 chainmail armor, and it would cost you 390 gold coins.
Alright. Wait. Hang on. Mert, tell me the cost again.
Okay, so a steel chainmail suit costs 15,000 ceramic pieces, and a +3 armor costs 24,000 ceramic pieces, and when you put those together, you get 390 gold pieces total.
I'm just in a thought.
And you just got 5,000, so you can afford it. It's pricey, but you could get it.
394?
Well, actually, it would have to be masterwork too, so 393. Or no, is it 2? I think it's 2 gold for a masterwork armor. So 392 is your total.
Alright. This is the +3 bonus.
Yep. So, looking at the thing here, a +3 chainmail is going to give you armor class 19. You have 13 strength, right?
Yes.
All right. And it weighs 55 pounds. We could say because it's masterwork, it weighs a little bit less.
Yeah, I'll spend 300 gold on these statues and on architecture for the city.
So you could get a chainmail that only weighs like 44 pounds. The masterwork can like reduce the weight by 20%.
Don't forget ringside. We also have a lot of magical, like really special magical, creature material you could use too. That might give you like different attributes. Like my armor is made of fire drake scale.
Well, this is a primary enchantment. He could still add a secondary enchantment to the armor. It would just cost 150% of the base enchantment cost.
Where is my air drake?
Your air drake is at the Order in the Dragon Crown Mountains, the Order base.
But we killed
I'm gonna ask.
We killed air drake before, and we have the skin of it if you need.
Okay, I would like to put air drake scales in here.
Well, there's not really any scale part to a chainmail. I mean, it's basically just metal.
Could I make some scale?
You could make a scale mail out of it. Scale mail's not quite as good, but it would have all the features of the air drake.
Then yes.
You've got a dexterity bonus, so you could even benefit.
Oh, wait a second. No, I can't do... Well, hold on. I have to use a lighter armor because all these armors are interfering with my dexterity. I forgot about that. No wonder I thought that this was a bit overpowered. Hold on.
That's true. Medium armor only allows 2 dexterity unless it's specially made to enhance even more. There are armors like that.
I would like to do that one, actually.
The scale mail?
A scale mail that that's special.
Okay, so revising to air, Drake, scale, male, +3 with the masterwork feature. Okay, and let's see, that's 14 AC. 14 +3. Air Drake features. Let me double check what that is real quick. Alright, so the Air Drake is going to give you immunity to lightning? Yeah, lightning. You actually have the option. Do you want immunity to lightning? Do you want immunity to thunder? Or do you want resistance to both?
Give me a second. Probably
Probably
thunder,
lightning is
because I
more.
don't particularly care about lightning.
Thunder it is.
Isn't lightning more common though? As a
Yeah, but it's the wind that nothing about my guy really screams lightning. Oh, and that is how I make my decisions. So there you go.
What about your character screams thunder? I'm sorry.
There's not much about my character that's like the lightning part of air.
Thundercat, Thundercat, Thundercat. Oh.
I was thinking it, Joe.
I know. I'm not here for much, but I am here for that.
okay,
Could
but
be
Ninja to finish my
or immune to lightning because I cast control lightning bolts quite often.
hey Taurus,
I did.
would it be possible for you to help me finish training the reading because you already started?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so I'd like to do that during the year, but I'd like also to follow through with that research for the fire drake egg.
Hey, Taro. Other innate things that the Air Drake materials could imbue into the armor include control winds, invisibility, or a big storm of vengeance.
Ooh.
Wait, what does Storm of Vengeance do again?
A lot of thunder or lightning damage. I'm not sure which. Let me look this up. Storm of Vengeance. Internet says
I
a churning storm cloud forms centered on a point you can see, spreading 360 feet. Lightning flashes in the area. This is the one that drops acid rain, and then it calls down 6 bolts of lightning, and then it rains hailstones, and then there are gusts and freezing rain that assail an area. It's a 9th level conjuration. That would be really expensive, but that's the most powerful enchantment you could put in this.
How expensive? Putting all this together.
I'll have to research it. I'm not sure.
That's a 9th level spell, by the way.
Yep.
I am aware, and I'm a bit interested in wearing this god armor.
Long, weren't you looking for those eggs as well?
It was the Drake hearts. No, they were hearts.
Oh, those are the
eggs.
Drake arcs, not I was talking.
Yeah,
okay.
or dragon. I don't know if they were drakes or dragons. Forget.
They're drakes. But so Ninja, like, I'd like to learn, finish learning how to read with Taurus. Also, communicate with the sword and try to learn more about the story of the past, but anything that has to do with the fire elemental, maybe that fire hag, maybe that's the sort of led me in the direction telling me that about it. And then do some research, potentially finding things in the libraries that are available. And the things that we found in the forest, in the books that the Veil Alliance gives us access to, and then whenever we go to Nimene, and I haven't found my answers, then maybe I'll ask him if he'll do me a favor, or maybe he knows about it.
Did we ever look at what the books actually did? I know I showed you a note card with all the spell books, but we were right at the end of a session.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Alright, so we got the Codex of the Celestial Mind, the Tome of the Serpent's Tongue, Chronicle of Forgotten Magics, the Bestiary of the Obsidian Lands, the Soul Shard Compendium, the Manual of Draconic Ascendants, the Grimoire of the Drowned Cities, the Vortex Codex, and the Psyche's Prism, and the Tablet of the Scorched Sands. Let me see if I can put all these in the Discord so you can just sort of peruse them.
Was the last one the Scorched Sands, you said?
Yeah, it might be of interest.
Yeah, I'll look
Are there
into that.
Are there any wind or future related ones?
See for yourself. They are posted right now.
Let's see here.
So you're the one who had to identify all of these books. So it would actually be Ring Sight identifying each of these and working with the Veiled Alliance to try to figure out what they do and what they are and making sure they're not trapped with horrible, deadly 9th level spells.
Alright, well, I'll immediately give the tablet to Morn. Wait, James, what were you trying to do?
So if Grimorn looks at the book, it'll benefit his Arcana checks, but he can't cast any of the spells because they're wizard spells.
Mm-hmm.
He's still gonna want it. I presume, anyway.
It's just different types of magic, though, so most of it is not of any use to him.
My long-term goal is to set up a druid guild and replant the earth.
Alright, then.
It's just I would gain more knowledge about fire spells in general. I'd be able to recognize them better when they're not cast by a cleric.
Yeah, for counterspell purposes, it could definitely be handy. You see
Yeah.
a Defiler casting Fireball, and you're like, I saw that hand motion in the book. Counterspell.
Yeah. Or using certain items or whatever.
James, what's your subclass?
Who?
He's a cleric of
James
fire.
is-
That is his subclass.
Yeah, I'm
No,
just
James.
yeah.
Or Orin?
No, he's not here. He is a Psi
Oh.
warrior.
Right, alright. Wait, no, I got that. I meant her druid.
Oh, long.
Oh, I'm a circle ninja.
I called him James.
Circle of the Moon Druid. For those big shapeshifts.
I removed my barbarian, multi-classing, and just went full druid.
An interesting choice.
Gives him access to
Okay,
higher level
so-
spells. It's kind of good. He wasn't doing a whole lot of barbarian stuff anyway.
Daniel, Draconic Ascendant. Hang on. I want to give the dragon book to Korganard and see what he thinks of it.
Okay. Korganard looks at the dragon book. Which one's that? Draconic Ascendants?
Yeah.
Okay. Korganard will nod solemnly and say, "We must hide away this lore so that none may ever use this accursed magic to become a dragon. This is a magic that should be kept, hidden, locked away, sealed, to prevent further Sorcerer Kings from becoming made.
Forgive my simplicity about this, but you think you might be able to use it in reverse?
The process to become an Avengian is quite a bit different. It is similarly complex and requires a similar amount of power, but it calls on different powers and has different intent.
Hmm.
Actually, Korganard is
Actually-
most interested in your recent exploits with the Forest Maker adventure because the ruins underneath the forest are
Still
all
has
about.
cool stuff in it.
They're all about making Avengians. The first Avengian transformation happened in that temple. So he's probably going to leave Tyr shortly after you come back from your adventure. You're not going to have access to Korganard because he's going to go to that temple and study it.
All right. Also, don't mind me. I'm just trying to keep track of what books that are off the menu. 'Cause I'm taking the frickin' codex. Uh. Okay. Who would? Let me write down that I actually have that.
Unfortunately, books are only useful to a couple people who can read, Taurus and Grimoire.
Any of my
Well,
cultists
we-
read.
I can. I want. We're gonna warn Korganard of all the ninth level traps in the temple place, right?
I
I'm
would
assuming
assume we're
done
doing
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, how about we don't slow down the game?
Well, it would be good to warn him. I'm glossing over that he asked numerous questions, and I'm gonna assume because he's highly intelligent, he would have asked enough questions and the right questions to get a pretty good understanding about what you did and what dangers you encountered, so that he would be forewarned about them.
Hmm. Carpets.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa,
what else?
whoa.
Oh, Ninja, can you also send me the list of all the monsters that I'm supposed to catch with the Pokeball thing and bring back?
Yeah. It's on the item list.
Can I have the
Beast
Chronicle
Master
of
Shop.
Forgotten Magics?
What's that?
Here it is. Paste.
Yeah, can I have the Chronicle?
Technically, it's already in your possession since you ID it.
And that's going to the Order as a gift to keep me in their good graces.
The Chronicle of Forgotten Magics. Grants a +1 bonus to Arcana checks when researching blue or green age magic. Are you sure?
Is it something they would want?
Hey, Grimoire.
If not, it's going to the Veiled Alliance.
Earth to Grimoire.
What's that?
Taro's giving away books you might find interesting.
Oh, which one? I'm
The one about blue and green age magic.
I mean, you were just saying you wanted to research with the sword
sword.
about old legends,
Yes.
and this is a
I'll
book
do-
about old legends, and this is a bonus to that check. So, like, you could
I'll
definitely
definitely-
benefit from this.
I'll defensively overview that book and read it. Yeah.
All right, you can have it then. That's when I'm just getting these all off the list.
But whoever might have like similar like interests, we can review the books together, I guess, or research them and share the information.
Would any of that book have anything to do with nature magic?
Yeah, one of them, the Bestiary of the Obsidian Lands, would be great for
Yeah.
Morgue because it describes all the creatures of the Obsidian Plains and provides +1 bonus on nature checks about desert creatures.
Oh,
Be
that's pretty
very
cool.
interested in that.
That might give you some clues to what other type of creatures you've never encountered.
All right, I'll just cross. I'm just gonna assume he's taking that. Then I'm crossing it off the list.
Where is it? Post? Did you put it in the Discord, or
Yeah,
where
I
is that?
pasted all of the books into Discord.
Okay. Bestiary of Obsidian Land.
Okay.
I will give Corkinard the Codex of the Celestial thingy.
Codex of the Celestial Mind. Leather bound in silkworm hide with crystal inlays. Explores psionic disciplines. Grants a +1 bonus on wisdom insight checks. Contains techniques to improve psionic focus. Yeah. The order accepts your gift. They say, the Codex. I haven't seen one of these in years. An original print. What a find.
All right then. And off it goes. I'm just gonna assume that James would like the Tome of the Serpent Tongue that has the nature poison knowledge.
That sounds like something I would want. Does it? What do I do with it? Does it let me like make poisons, or
It gives you
it just
advantage
like I
on.
identify poison?
Advantage on nature
It
checks
gives you a-
regarding poison.
Okay.
So there you
Details of
go.
Did you warn him it's cursed?
Yes.
Taro's always leaving
Is
out
it?
vital information.
Alright, you deleted
Sorry.
it?
Sorry, well, it's above me. You can see it up there. I'm just getting rid of the copies of it.
He made his own list so he could cross them out.
Oh, okay. If you read it, reader must take a DC Constitution saving throw or suffer damage on all saving throws for a day. Can I like dispel the curse?
No.
Yeah.
It's not so much a curse as it's just like when you read the material, it just causes that effect. So you can't get the bonus without getting the curse. They're inseparable.
Poison makes your reading about
Basically,
poison makes your stomach hurt.
basically, it's a medical manual that's full of like really disgusting descriptions of how you can die from poison, and if you have a weak stomach, it makes you sick just reading it.
So what reason would I have to read the Soul Shard Compendium?
A psionic grimoire detailing soul manipulation. The reader must succeed on a DC 18 wisdom saving throw or be haunted by nightmares and suffer a level of exhaustion in the morning.
That might be okay since my con saves are 8.
If you were interested in soul manipulation, that would be of benefit to you.
Is there any not evil things you can do with soul manipulation?
Well, thinking back over your previous adventures when you were in Gustanel, the Caller in Darkness was a tornado made out of angry poltergeists. And in the guide, it says if a player was killed by the Caller in Darkness, it would eat their soul, and their soul would become part of the poltergeist tornado. And in order to get them back to life, you couldn't just resurrect them in a normal way because their soul was gone. So all you'd do is you'd bring the body back to life with no soul, which I think makes it a ghoul by default. But what you could do in the guide, they say, is you could use a 9th level wish to separate their soul from the caller in darkness and then go into the astral plane and then capture their detached soul and bring it back to the material plane and put it back into the body to bring them back to life. Like, they had a whole paragraph about how hard it is to save somebody who gets killed by the caller.
Why don't you just keep the other 3 books in the big... Well, I guess not the Grimoire. I think it'd probably be like... I'll probably go back to the water cultists somewhere. I don't know where they are. But yeah, the other 2, they're going in. You know how like the religious church people in fiction have like the big vault of forbidden naughty books. You
Yeah.
have the ancient curse of the such and such, and also how to undo it, so you
Like
can't
the
just blow up the book.
Doctor Strange movie where they have all the books hanging chained up.
Yeah,
They got
yeah, I'm
people
putting them in
guarding
there.
them. Wizards guarding the spell books that you can't read.
Yeah, just put down those 2 under that.
They must be protected. Do you want to donate them to King Tithian to put in the Tyrian royal vaults where all the cool magic items you never get to have are?
It doesn't sound like a donation.
It's not. It's a vault. It's a vault where the King of Tyr traditionally keeps super weapons out of the reach of regular folks.
Yeah, but you said it like I'm giving him a present.
Well, I mean, you're just giving away books. Don't read into it too much.
All right, can have those.
All right, into the vault they go for safekeeping. Sadira and Aegis of Asticles approve. These things must not fall into the wrong hands. The safest place is the Vault of Tyr.
Not the water one. Who's the water person of Tyr?
Oh, there isn't one. So, in the guide to the city of Tyr, it says that if you seek a cleric, you could find one. They're not that hard to find, but there are no actual temples, and there are no clerics offering their services for sale. Except Grimorn has created his Temple of Fire, so that's the only one that's really active in the city.
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome.
Hello. With the last book, I'll go find random water cleric and say, think of it as a gift from the air to the water so you don't get driven to freaking extinction.
You might want to hang on to it for a while, without spoiling anything. There might be a water cleric you'll run into at some point.
Alright, I guess I'll keep it in here then.
Is there any other books that I might find with the Vel Alliance? Should we roll for that, or how does that work?
Most of them are about wizardry and would not really help you. Like, you're looking for old legends, and I'll give you a list of artifacts that they know about, but I'll have to put it together during the week. I don't have it on me right now.
Okay.
So you will learn about maybe like 2 or 3 artifacts. Actually, go ahead and roll an investigate, and based on your roll, that's how many you'll find.
Can I be involved in that too? Because that's kind of like my organization's whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Veiled Alliance probably would allow you to browse their library if you want.
Well, I don't need to go. If the Veiled Alliance has got it on lock, I don't need to go through their library. I'm talking about, finding new stuff, about the different Sorcerer Kings or intercept shipments and stuff like that. That's my organization's whole thing.
Mm-hmm. They'll allow you to look at the library, but they wouldn't let anybody else in.
Okay. I guess I didn't understand what was happening.
Can I borrow what is a bracelet or the thing that gives you intellect from one of you guys for some of these researches? Or
You got attuned to that.
Well, this is
Not
downtime.
mine.
There's a lot of free
No?
time here.
there's
I'm
a lot
not gonna
of
be
free.
dumb.
No, I'm not.
You guys are welcome to unattune and reattune to items as many times as you want during the downtime here. You're not.
I'll actually want to make a backup one. It's uncommon, but I'll probably make a backup one.
You
You
missed
can
a
use
lot,
that
Will.
one.
We've basically been discussing like what the downtime period's all about and what different people are gonna do. Grimorn's got tons of plans. Taro's got tons of plans. A lot of things being set in motion. One
What?
thing that came up that might involve you is building armies. Your kanks could possibly be trained into cavalry. Make some cavalry units for
Absolutely.
Tyr.
How much intellect does it give you?
Up
It puts
to
you to 17,
19.
I think.
Was that?
19.
19, sorry. 19.
it sets you at 19.
Okay. Yeah, I'm giving it back. Like I don't want to keep that for.
He wears it for a while. He does a week of research. He gives it back. You reattune to it.
Pretty much.
Researching an entire library of spell books does take a while. 8-hour shifts, day after day after day after day after day, and eventually
It-
you learn a
is the
few
barking-
tidbits.
Is the barking coming through? Are you guys hearing barking?
No.
A little bit. That's
Nah.
fine.
Was there any
Wait,
bonuses,
wait.
Ninja?
No, it's just
No.
going to be a list of artifacts and some details about where to look.
Okay.
Clues, rumors.
Oh wait, Sky, you just got here. I asked everyone to do a thing. Make up a bunch of titles for yourself. Now that we're big high
Oh.
class lord types.
Heraldry.
Yeah. Like.
Well, I
husband of the-
suppose, you know, what does it take to become a lord in Tyr? I mean, just having
I mean,
land.
we effectively are, even if we don't have any of that land. When a guy could just say, "You've ticked me off," and summon a giant storm to kill half the population, he kind
Give
of
me a
just
second.
becomes a lord by default.
Ninja's a 20.
Cool. All right. 4. There will be 4 artifacts you learn about.
Okay.
Make a note about that. 4 artifacts.
The legend of our feats will give us our own titles. We don't need any self-proclaimed titles. I, for one, still kind of need to go deal with a certain druid in the pit. We'll obtain a title that way.
Ah. Are you ready to face him, though? And take the title of head druid?
Yes.
He's powerful.
Oh, attempt it.
There can be
Yeah.
only one. Lightning
Yeah,
crackles.
Yeah, that day there's gonna be a lot of earthquake in that area of the world, Ninja.
You have upset the primal forces of nature, Mr. Bill, and you must atone.
And there's gonna be fire from the sky, falling from the sky, and earthquakes going on.
Ninja, can you roll the personality type thing for the Ring of Two Minds? I'm gonna buy it.
All right. You buy the Ring of Two Minds, and your mind is split asunder, forming a whole new personality.
The frick just happened?
Let's see.
I bought a item that allows me to concentrate on 2 spells, but gives me split personality disorder.
Roll me a d12.
D12. 4.
4. Oh, interesting. And then, I'm going to need another dice roll. Let me see here. Hang on just one moment. I have to look something up in the book.
Okay.
Okay, roll another d12.
Me?
No. This is more something is happening in his mind.
6.
6. All right, getting there, and then roll a d20,
20.
and then 4d6.
Okay, 4 for the d20. And a total of 11 for the d6s. Or are they also supposed to be like each their own roll?
They're each going to be their own roll. So let's go
Okay.
one by one. What's
2,
the
3,
first
3.
roll?
2.
2. And then
3, 3, 3.
3. Okay. So, the profile I am getting of Morg's alternate personality is that he is also a druid, a guild artisan, a calligrapher scribe who has...
Right.
Clone himself.
He's a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate the fine art of his calligraphy and scribe work. And he really cares about freedom. Everyone should be free to pursue his or her own livelihood, which is a chaotic trait. Freedom. Chaos. And then, so, let's see, that was your personality trait, was snobbish. Your ideal was freedom. Your bond. I owe my guild a great debt for forging me into the person I am today. Guild debt. And then, lastly, your flaw is that no one must ever learn that I once stole money from the guild coffers. Ooh, that's the debt. So your made-up alternate personality in your head has this whole backstory where he used to be in the guild and he stole from them, but nobody can ever find out. But he feels like he owes a debt to them.
I say to my own separate psyche, I know.
But with all that, you gain the ability to concentrate on a second spell. Or I should say, this alternate personality. You should give it a name. What's his name?
I'm gonna ask again. Did you clone yourself into like an alternate timeline thing? Like, who is this?
I'm going to have to like think on it.
Okay. To be named. All right. Well, got that out of the way.
I'm so confused.
He got himself a very powerful but dangerous magic item because it causes him to go insane. He develops a multiple personality disorder. A part of his brain splits off and develops its own backstory and has its own ideals and goals and flaws. But because he's got that living in his head, he gains a special power that most people can't do, which is concentrate on 2 spells at the same time.
It's nice that it's also a druid. Makes sense. Concentrate on the other druid spell.
Yeah, it would have been weird if it was like a thief or something. You'd just be picking pockets badly all over the town. Getting caught, like, damn, why isn't this working? I used to be a great thief. I've gotten so clumsy. This is strange. These don't even feel like my own hands.
You said this guy's a calligraphist. What's the
Right.
class of this alternate personality?
Well, he rolled a 4, which says calligrapher, scribe, or scrivener. Guild
Does it have a
business.
class?
Guilds are generally found in cities large enough to support several artisans practicing the same trade. However, your guild might instead be a loose network of artisans who each work in a different village within a larger realm.
The thing that you said I rolled a 6, that's a guild artisan thing? But like the background type?
Yeah, that was the background that you rolled.
Okay.
In the book, it goes Acolyte, Charlatan, Criminal, Entertainer, Folk Hero, Guild Artisan, number 6.
Does that do anything with like the background bonuses or anything?
No, it's just what he thinks he is.
Okay.
He thinks he's a guild artisan. He thinks he's a druid. I mean, he is a druid. He's you.
I mean, you can do both. You can wait. Does that mean he can read now?
He thinks
I
he
mean, I
can.
was already doing that with the book of exalted deeds I was learning with Taurus.
Yeah, there you go. So he learns to read, and in learning to read, he also learns to write, and becomes the scrivener.
Now you're the druid scrivener, and you can leave. I don't know, standing stones.
Really weird. I feel like sometimes I'm writing things that I wouldn't normally write. I know I can write, but what is this writing?
That's incredibly creepy.
I forgot. There was like a famous like thing about that. Is it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or something like that? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, that's an example of it. Although that might be an example of sort of like manic depression. Like maybe Dr. Jekyll is the depressed one, and then Mr. Hyde is the maniac. So that could be like a sort of like a
Well, thank you
metaphor
for
in the book.
randomly giving me an entirely freaking different perspective on that story.
The movie Split is a really good one about multiple personality disorder, because he's got all these different personalities in his head, and then one of them is like an actual werewolf. And when he switches into that personality, he like
That's
behaves
hilarious.
as if he is a werewolf.
Ow, ow, ow.
Mind over matter. He's like climbing the walls and stuff. Gotta have some strong fingers for that. A lot of people
Get
shit
those
on M.
material.
Night Shyamalan, but I'm actually a fan. I like that series of movies like Split and Glass and Unbreakable. A little trilogy of almost superhero movies in a sort of real world. So, moving on with the storyline. At the entrance to town, the Templars and they're meeting the people that are coming in through the gates, the merchants and the travelers. One of them is going to approach some fire clerics at the front gate, and they're going to inquire about Grimorn. And the fire cleric is going to say, "Oh, Grimorn is here. He has returned from his adventures, and he is in the temple." And this elven traveler arriving in Tyr says, "I must speak urgently with the master of the fire temple and his friends. I come from Tenpug's temple to the east of Nivene. They know us. We need their aid." And the priest says, "Ah, yes, I will bring you immediately to the fire temple." And so he arrives at the fire temple, and he goes to look for Grimorn.
I'm at the top of the tower. I'm talking with the fire giant.
All right. Up in the fire temple, talking with the fire giant. There's an elf here, and he's going to introduce himself as Raxkin. He's a bard. He comes from Tenpug's temple, and he's going to tell you that there's a lot of trouble, that they've had more frequent skirmishes with the Gith. The Gith have been getting closer, and their raids have been more frequent, and they're getting more bold, and they seem better equipped than normal. They seem to be amassing for a major attack on Tenpug's temple, and many people are scared, and some want to fight, and others want to flee. And we don't really know what to do, and we could use some strong allies to help us make the decision.
I have some assistance. Could that be related to what Nibene has been warning us about?
Yeah, definitely. The Gith have been a big nuisance in the region. And they seem to be mobilizing pretty aggressively, and there seems to be some intelligence behind it.
What kind of equipment are we talking about?
Steel-tipped weapons, which is
Steel.
completely unusual for the usually very primitive Athasian Gith. They're not like your typical D&D Gith, where they're like these high-tech, multi-dimensional, like elite. No, these are Athasian Gith. These are the like troglodyte, super primitive Gith normally. Like they have no industry, they have no forges, they use shell armor and wood and obsidian weapons generally, stone weapons.
I sent a message to Oren,
I'm here.
and I asked you if your spies might have noticed like an increase in maybe merchants and deliveries that could have been brought into the area. There's an increase in steel tip and steel weapons used by the Git.
It's actually the opposite.
I'll
The
make
merchants
another
have been
roll.
avoiding the area because it's so dangerous.
So I don't know if I need to roll for that. Then sounds like that's the issue. That's the response, right? What you said, Ninja.
Well-known information. Anybody can
Right.
tell you the roads have become quite dangerous out by Nivene.
And it's always the Gits that are guarding and like causing some issues. Huh?
And if it's not the Gith, it's the horde of undead mounting to the east in the ruins of Giustanel.
But I've noticed that, but it doesn't seem to be. It hasn't seemed to be as super pressing of a thing. I mean, they're kind of keeping to themselves out there, so.
Well, Raxkin has showed up asking for your assistance because he thinks they don't have much time left.
Yeah, I don't care that much about them, but I do care about the Gits and Nibene, and I've been concerned about that, and I think that we definitely should be dealing with them, especially knowing that there's an army heading also towards Nibene.
Raxkin is a bard, and he's going to make a persuasive argument. No, actually, hold on. Let me find his stats here. Raxkin.
His
Here.
name is Ratskin.
Raxkin.
Okay.
Rakskon. Raxkin.
I thought you said a rat skin, like the skin of a rat.
Okay, he only gets a 10. He tells you that the Gith have a huge treasure, and if you come out and fight them, you can claim their massive golden treasure. Like their leader rides around on a huge golden throne.
Huh.
I'm gonna send I'm gonna have someone to send a messenger to everyone from the group to come and meet this rat skin guy.
All right.
Okay. I'll say this. This is going to be out of character, but if the Gith are growing in their raids and starting to take down not just trade between other countries, but especially in the Tier Ram region, I know those are on other sides of Uruk, but in any of those regions, if the Gith are starting to spread and harass and raid out there,
So
I'm going
there's
to take
a
bigger influence.
there's a patch of the Silt Sea between Rom and where the Black Spine Mountains are, and so the Gith don't cross that because they don't have any ships.
Okay.
But they're terrorizing the region just in general, causing a lot of issues. Huh?
Yeah, they're on this side of the shore, so the Gith pose a threat to Dragoth's army, coincidentally, Giustanel. Although Dragoth could kill the Gith and turn them into more undead for his army, so if Dragoth fights them, it's going to double the size of his army.
Mm-hmm. Why are Gith evil again around here?
They're just savage.
They're raiders.
Alright, so wild, so Fallout brand evil. No one could be
They're
bothered
like
to
the
learn to
goblins.
farm.
They're basically just generally evil and nasty and attacking people all the time. They've been a major problem since the beginning. You've encountered bands of roving Gith raiders, even the first adventure. The first time you set foot out into the desert, they were there.
Here, you mentioned what we were doing in downtime, so I'll put this in the chat here.
We
Those
did actually pass a chunk of time there. Enough time that everybody could set in motion whatever they wanted to do, have some magic items crafted and stuff. So that when
Yeah.
Raxon arrives and says we need help immediately, we can say that you've done whatever downtime stuff was going to get done prior to that.
Okay.
So if you
Well-
still need to tell me you want to do something during downtime, we can just retroactively say you did that.
I'll
earlier.
honestly say that this is not super high on the totem pole in terms of interest, but if there's nothing super pressing, like I feel like Boris is not gonna jump down Tyr's throat right now, I can go ahead and take a little side trek over here. If everybody, if the boys are going on a trip, I'll join with them.
Gotcha.
Something before that I just remembered. The I remember I have this jar of mutagen that was used to transform the guy who everyone liked. And there's someone in Tyr who would know like how to take that and like make an antidote or something.
No, there's no antidote for the mutagen. Dragoth's mutagen is a one-way change. Once you've been hit by the ooze, you're a mutant and there's no going back. Maybe a wish could undo it. I don't know.
Is there any use for this substance?
You could throw it at somebody and horrible things would happen to them. They might die.
Well, there's always science, but that's kind of.
You could give it
No.
to an alchemist and see if he can reproduce it.
But then, what if we could make something besides a dragonkin? Make something other. I mean,
You could
we can
feed it.
mutate lots
I'm gonna
of things.
do that. I'm gonna give it to an alchemist because I have no use for the thing.
You could
and
feed it to
say-
one of your pets so that it gains a breath weapon attack.
No, I'm just gonna give it to the alchemist and give him like I don't know 100 gold.
Can you imagine that? You've got like a pet dog, and then you feed it this mutagen, and then it gets a breath weapon attack like a dragon.
Lol. But yeah, find alchemist man, and
But Pat Drake, anyways, turned into a full-on dragon.
nah, I'm giving it to the alchemist. I want to see what he can do with it.
No,
I'll
Morkan
be
would
honest.
love.
I mean, these.
Morkan would love that.
Yeah, there's no reason why, if someone wanted to go ahead and become a dragon, like part dragon and get a breath weapon, like there's lots of people who would enjoy to have that, especially if it doesn't immediately make you loyal to Dragoth.
True, but I do want to see. Like, this is a very potent single use, but I have interest in its long-term applications.
Well, King Tithium would probably be right on this board too, actually. Like, what, we can make dragon shock troops? Yes, please.
Now
We
keep in mind that's what the evil sorcerer king did, so careful with that.
Right, we probably don't want to give it to King Tithian, because he'd probably give it, forcibly to people.
Oh, well. Alright, I need 21 ceramic pieces per week for the alchemist.
How many ceramic pieces per week?
21 ceramic pieces per week. Each week, he charges 3 ceramic pieces per day, and he studies the ooze 8 hours a day. After
Can
1
have
week,
20 gold.
after 1 week, he has failed to learn anything. Let's see. I'll make a note. 20 GP invested. He tells you he'll keep working on it. We'll have to figure out how many weeks actually go by and see how long it takes him to get information. It's still kind of a vague gray area right now, exactly how much downtime is happening here. Question mark, 3 months? A bunch of question marks. I'm not too sure on that. It's probably at least 3 months, considering you had to finish making an airship and some magic armor. Okay.
So we have 2 airships now?
Yeah. You have a huge prototype airship warship, and then you've got your regular, like, trader boat airship.
Yeah, I got the battleship with commanded by the 4 elements.
Huh.
The clerics have 4 different elements, and it's
They
like
don't kill each other?
it's in the attempt to my idea is in the attempt to try to bring back like the old age when all of the clerics and the druids join together to try to combat the sorcerer kings and to bring that back to our time if possible. So that's
That's
my
sort of what I wanted to do too.
yeah. Well, I did bring that up to you as well.
I wasn't how sure you were willing to work with water clerics though.
Well, it's fine. Like if they've done it in the past, I'm sure, and it's for a greater cause. After we kill the sorcerer king, we can go back at fucking killing each other if we need to. But I think it would be worth to tolerate them, and it's
Temperatures.
yeah, and it's not like I haven't like done a truce in the past. Like when you think about like what was going on in Nimine, and we were stuck in the water cleric temple. You know,
And then you
but-
defiled their temple.
well, that's allegedly. You know,
Allegedly. Allegedly.
no, but you know, if we've done it, if we were able to do it in the past, we might be able to do it again today. So that was kind of the idea behind the big ship, is to bring and see if it's possible. It's a starting point, you know.
I like your map here. Your temple map. It looks cool. I've zoomed right in and I've put rock skin in here where you're talking to the fire giant. With your
Oh, sweet.
eternal flame fire elemental. And Souls are not appearing, hanging out, playing his bardic music in the corner. Couldn't make
Well,
it
there are 2
tonight.
bars. Maybe
For
they
not
can
appearing in this film.
they can share some stories. I
Yeah,
got Oren.
Rockskin and Soul are going to compete. And Rockskin, he plays his bardic song and he rolls a 5. That's terrible. And then Soul, he plays his bardic song and he rolls a 10. And he easily defeats Rockskin. But Rockskin is quite young, so he will fall under the mentorship of this older, wiser bard and take pointers and tips from his musical skill. Yeah, he's here with his wife. You got nobles up in your temple hanging out. Looking at your collection of dragon bones. 3-headed dragon bones.
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't.
wait,
I don't
three-headed?
do. No, I don't do. That's just a model that came with.
That's like all the drakes you've defeated. You just had a bunch of
Yeah,
trophy
I just-
heads. You stuck them all on one body.
Yeah.
Like this is
Why not?
this is the not quite accurate Museum of Natural History. We just throw shit together.
Yep.
Like 1800s dinosaurs where they just jumble a bunch of bones together from 3 different dinosaurs and say, "I've invented a new dinosaur."
Huh.
Call this one the Cerberus Rexosaur.
Huh.
This room over here looks a little hazardous with lightning shooting everywhere. So I didn't have much of a schedule for our game tonight. There is the quest, but, you know, it's a quest. It's the main quest. We can do more downtime stuff if anybody wants to chime in with some more ideas.
Well, did you guys see what I wrote in the text chat?
Not yet.
Lord
So I kind
Or-
of feel like, I mean, those are the things that Orin's going to be most motivated to do. You know, because it seems like that's going to be the most pressing concerns. But,
Hmm.
I
Eh,
mean, it doesn't have to be that. I mean, it's just kind of where his from his perspective where things are.
So the Discord doesn't appear on stream, so in case anybody's watching the stream, do you want to just like read off what you wrote down there?
Oh yeah. So the first thing is to make sure that okay, so I'm gonna finish the weapons I've been working on since before the last quest.
Like
The
repairing the
Sinkworm
broken
armor,
one?
Sinkworm armor, and then repairing the Greyforge dart. So that's all good now, hopefully.
And now you'll be able
Then
to
the
pass
next
right
biggest
through
thing,
rock. That's a cool power.
right, right. Um, Now the next thing is Boris the Dragon has, if I recall, sought revenge. Like his agents said specifically, no, we're coming for Tyr. Its days are numbered, it's gonna fall. And supposedly we do understand from I don't know, from tapestries or talking to Nibene or what, that Boris is the most powerful Sorcerer King there is. And if he's mad at Tyr, that's a really big problem and something that occupies the vast majority of Orin's waking hours and thoughts.
Yeah, it's something I mentioned earlier that if Boris commands all of the Sorcerer Kings to attack Tyr, you would be in big trouble fighting multiple armies at the exact same time.
Well, I mean, that's what happened to Dragoth.
That
You
is
had
what
all the
happened to
Sorcerer
Draco.
Kings come in and just nuke. It would be over.
Right.
And so,
In an instant, it would be like a nuke going off.
right. So either we need to slightly appease, try to convince all the Sorcerer Kings to try to take down Boris, which would be quite a tall order. Um, just I don't know, but we need to know what we're talking about, and then, so the biggest thing is going to that area. We can go ahead and do the gift thing first, but
Well, what you've learned about Boris is they give tribute to Boris. 1,000 slaves from
slaves,
every
yeah,
city, and Tyr has no slaves to offer. And
right.
Balak has been supplying those slaves, and Andropenis of Balak is quite upset about the
Andropenis.
expense of giving up 1,000 of his own slaves when Tyr should be paying its own tribute.
Right.
who are we paying the tribute to?
To Boris
Boris
of
the Dragon.
Urdraxa, the tribute that keeps him from raining down on your city with all of his vengeance and rage and flattening it.
Who did he murder?
Uh, Boris
in the
is
blue.
Boris is the #1 sorcerer king. He's more powerful than any of the other ones. They all fear him. He is like the king of them. They are all his subjects.
Now, he's been around since. Well, hold on. We don't know about how long he's been around. We don't know what he did in like the Blue Age or whatever else. I don't know if he was even around during that time.
You've gotten vague information. It's unclear. Nibene hasn't
Legends.
told you too much.
Okay. But so then it's kind of like, okay, concentrate resources on defending Tyr. Like I wanted to go ahead and get the side crystal and try to reinforce the walls and such wards. Okay, because everything comes down to defending the family. The next thing was trying to stabilize and unite Rom, because that's the closest chance to having another free city like Tyr, remaking another Tyr, out of any other place in the Tablelands. So if that could be possible, I know that's going to be a lot of kind of guerrilla Cold War against Uruk, which if we were able to stabilize and unite Ram, which is another tall order. But then we've got Ram on the east and Tyr on the west, and it kind of would be great if we could go ahead and take down Hamanu, and then have a Tyr Uruk Ram confederacy of free states. And then we would have like a non-aggression pact with Nibene, but that's like a whole big section of the Tablelands right there. That's just like the northwest corner of the Tablelands. That's all free states and stuff. Um,
So Hamanu is probably like if I was listing sorcerer kings that you could potentially team up with, like Nibene, Hamanu would be high on the list.
what? He wanted to kill us.
He did want to kill you because the iron mines shut down, and he needs that iron.
No, we can
Yeah, I mean, I want,
maybe we can sweet the deal with him.
So
I want to
What?
destroy Hamanu.
Hamanu is really powerful and aggressive, but if you could get him on your side, he could be a powerful ally, and he's not the most evil of sorcerer kings.
What?
Is a top 10 list?
I was just not. I am. I was reading very different signals throughout the campaign about that.
I mean,
I
they're
mean,
all
look, I'm
they're-
not. I'm not well read in
they're
the
all genocidal
Athos.
maniac Hitlers, yes, but you know, if you're making the tier list of who's
Yeah.
worse than the others, then
I
he
thought-
wouldn't be at the top.
I think it would be in our greatest advantage to kill Gog and burn that goddamn tree.
So like if I was making the list, I would say Boris is the most evil because he kills like 10,000 people every year. Then under that, the next most evil would probably be like Tektut Title, just because he's like
Oh, yeah.
really really into slavery and human sacrifice. So like
Where's
Right.
Gog?
It's like the Aztec one.
like two big checks against him.
What about the priestess of Gog or whatever, the sorceress? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
then the Oba of Golg would be next because she's also really into human sacrifice, but she makes games of it. She makes like festivals of murder, so she's super evil as well. And then I don't
And
know,
I
like
have
Anthropinus. He seems like more of a joke to me.
Yeah, I don't think he's that bad. I mean, besides just the fact that he's like the Roman emperor, but like
he is Nero fiddling while Rome burns. Like he refuses to ever give up power, and he's an evil, corrupt dude. But he's not like evil for evil's sake.
right, he's just a standard issue human evil, like realistic evil.
But like Hamanu is all about law and order. So even though he's evil, as long as you adhere to Hamanu's law, then he will adhere to any bargain that he makes. Like his word is law, and he is honor bound to adhere to what he says he will do.
But he
he's
actually
also,
has honor.
But he's also a like warrior king that will totally go to war with you and kill you.
Yeah. Korn also has honor. I don't really like him either.
Huh.
Like he's
Okay.
based on Hammurabi, who was all about like law and
An
order.
eye for
as
an
well.
eye, tooth
Yeah.
for a tooth.
So he's harsh,
Okay.
but he's fair.
Wow. Okay, I just did not get that from him. I mean, I just didn't understand why we were left alive after going inside his house and trying to steal his stuff.
Well, that's because he saw a chance to use us the entire fucking time, but he still tried to kill us through the
Yeah.
entire adventure.
Well, but see, that was the thing, is like, were his agents acting directly in his will, like to go ahead and kill us? Because that's counterproductive.
Well, these
Or is
days
it
his
just like
interest
they were-
is all eastward. Like he's got so many spies and agents operating in Rom right now, you have no idea.
Well, then I'm way outgunned out there. I only have like 13 or so. I put the biggest effort, the biggest commitment of spies and agents in Rom. Maybe I have a couple of them that are his agents.
They
like
would
double
they would
agents.
report that there's definitely some Urukite spies like all over the place. They've been operating almost in the open because the merchant lords are running the show and they have no sorcerer queen. Abalak Ra is dead and the place is in disarray. There's civil war between the houses, so Hamanu's operatives have been busy, and they have a foothold in several of the merchant houses and among several of the noble houses in Rom already.
Okay, so that makes that situation a lot more complex. Because, gosh, maybe I almost want to work with Hamanu. Ugh, I don't know. That's a little weird. But
Ew.
yeah, the last thing was just a little personal thing. Was I want to take down House Turax in Tyr slowly and not in a violent to try and not too violent anyway, in a way to try and preserve some stability. But because we don't want to hurt our armies, and he has the biggest army. But yeah, to basically just keep fiddling with his balls, basically.
You could get around that by building your own army and making it bigger and better trained.
That was an option, but kind of have to be around for that. So it's last on the list in interest. It's last on the priority list, but it's the most personally vendetta, personally emotionally charged for Orin. So basically, every time that we're sitting there, at the bar or tavern, having a drink together, he's gonna say a few words, sly of Minthur and Tirthani and Turax.
All right. The noble houses of Tyr. I put them all on the shopping list during the week. Let's see. Noble district. Somewhere in here. Here it is. Was it Torax? I put all that information.
Turax is the one who made a sort of threat to my family. I mean, he didn't mean it like that. He makes threats like that all the time. Makes idle, bullying threats. But Oren took it real personally.
All right. I think I have the information under the wrong noble here. Okay, so we got... They gave like 3 nobles, and they're from 3 stratas of nobility. So House Turax...
Oh, there's stratas.
House Turax is a high noble, so he's like at the top.
Oh, I gotta write this down.
House Minthur is a mid-level noble. That's why he's always working to overthrow his rivals. And then House Tirthani is one of the lesser noble houses, but they're one of the oldest, and so they have the support of many of the lesser noble houses. They all look to House Tirthani as the old house of Tyr.
Now, the Tirthanis, the only problem with them is that they just kind of want to bring slavery back, but because they want old values, they want to bring traditional old slave pits back. Minthur's only problem is they're like the epitome of late stage capitalism that Oren is worried about. Who cares about the people because we're making money. That's Oren's whole thing. Turax would be fine, except for he threatened my family, and now he has to go. So that's basically where Oren's working from right now.
All right. Well, he has many powerful bodyguards, and he's quite wealthy and influential. So a formidable enemy you've chosen there.
Yeah.
He's also the one that was the most bigoted against the Veiled Alliance. During the war with Uruk, he demanded somebody stand trial for just being wizards, basically, during the revolution. He considers it a crime to be a wizard, and he wants the old way of burning all the witches. Because he himself is old and old-fashioned and bigoted against wizardry.
That's not great either. I mean, I don't want him coming for Sadira. Although Sadira, I don't know. Am I starting to not like Sadira like if she's gonna go in a little nutso for the sun there and the sun, like okay, it seems like Sadira's almost exhibiting signs of like where Grimorn was on the Road of Fire.
Oh, for sure. She's a zealot. As much
Yeah,
of a zealot as Grimorn is. And not
and he
just a
got
zealot, but a revolutionary zealot. That's a hell of a
She's
combination.
my kind. Maybe I should try to marry that one.
Yeah,
oh my god. But wait, aren't Fire and Sun fighting now?
they
No,
are.
that's okay. Is there one couple
that-
that never fights? You know.
Well, that's true.
Is that turning Sadira evil or something?
It's not
No.
making her evil, but she is aligned with an element that is going mad due to the defiler magic that stole the power of the sun. So the plane of the sun is consuming the planes of fire and air in order to keep itself going after having all of its energy sapped by the defiler magics.
Mhm.
This all happened in another age. They were they had broken the balance of nature and they were trying to fix it, and in trying to fix it they broke the sun and made things even worse. So it's just been a cascade of failures for several millennia.
If that's not gonna get fixed in my lifetime.
Um,
Yeah, vast
you know,
wars happening on the planar scale in other dimensions.
so to the group, you know, with this, like I think like my opinion of like has been probably like I think we should go and deal with the gifts. We know what kind of battle we have ahead of us. That's one that we could probably solve before we have to deal with an army of undeads. I don't think it would be too smart for us to try to potentially fight Gog, you know, the army of undeads and the gifts at the same time. That'll give us a chance to accumulate more treasure, maybe save some time, get some time to accumulate more troops for the bigger battles, and also maybe an opportunity for us to find some cool, you know, items and level up. That's
Leveling
more
up is
like
pretty
it.
hard at your level. You are
Yeah.
in the extremely high levels, and you have to fight some pretty powerful stuff to level up at this point.
Yeah,
But a quest is a
go-
quest. If you can finish the
Yeah.
Gith adventure, that's worth a level up.
Yeah, that gives us an achievement, and who knows what else is going to come from that. You know,
And it would change the battlefield. It would be a major blow to one of the factions in a three-front war on Nibene.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that would be probably the next step for us to go through that adventure.
Hmm.
And it sounds very like when you think about it, it sounds kind of ordinary as a you know as a something to take us into that adventure. You know, like just like get attacking the place. Like who gives a damn about that? So there has to be something bigger hidden behind it. It can't just be an army of Git. You know what I mean?
Well, the key point is that the Gith seem to be organized and well equipped. So who is organizing them and who is equipping them?
Yeah, it's probably another sorcerer king.
Well, I said my piece. I don't want to keep saying it. I don't want to make this meta, but it's kind of meta as it is. Like, it just doesn't seem super pressing. I feel like we're doing it just because we can get a level up, because that's what we want before we go to see Boris. And I feel like that's the wrong way to do things.
Well,
you know?
Boris is the capstone. That's like the final boss.
Yeah,
Right.
we're not getting there.
You guys are level 17, not level 20 plus.
Yeah, we have a few steps to take before that, and in the story, that's kind of
but
next step. I think
he's saying that this step doesn't really naturally.
it
follow.
is.
There's not motivation to really.
Well, yeah, there is. There is.
Not no motivation, but very much not sufficient motivation to take away from these other more pressing concerns.
Such
Or
as
Boris, we're probably
What do
going
you
to
mean?
have to kill Sorcerer Kings
The
or
way I look at
convert
it,
them to our side.
I think it's just all connected, right?
Yeah, it is connected. Like we know about this issue for a while. I think we kind of like a long time ago maybe thought about it being the next step after the not the last but the one mission we did before.
Yeah.
We know it's causing some problems with Nibene. Nibene is already having some issues rebuilding, and we do need their help to be able to combat Gog. And Gog is going to cause some problems as well. Like
Well,
we're gonna
one
end up
thing,
we're gonna end up helping like Nibene one way or another.
right? So
Do we
that could
want to
be
do you want to be swamped by like 3 armies at once?
well that could be where this all comes to play. Is that okay, we know that Dragoth was coming for Nibene,
Yeah.
right? That was early on, if not before the downtime.
Nibene could
Right.
probably
So
face Dragoth if that was all it was, but he's already at war with the Oba of Gulg, and the Gith are now a problem.
right. So in our defense, because from the outset, it seems like we're going to have, if not a non-aggression pact, uh, I mean, it's almost a de facto alliance between Tyr and Nibene, which is weird because I kind of feel like the Veiled Alliance is almost open in Tyr. Like, I don't know if that's the case or not, but anyway, point is, I don't understand how does Sidira feel about Nibene? Like, this is just weird. Um,
She wants
but
Nibene to die. She hates
right,
Nibene.
right.
And Gog, most of the group, you haven't been involved in that, but I have a personal need of revenge, and I want to burn that fucking tree. There has been enough, and we almost died because of that freaking Gog like several times.
So if you wanted to win the war, or like help your ally Nibene,
Right.
you could go after any of those three targets. You could go after the Gith, you could go after Dragoth, or you could go after Gulg.
Well, and now I'm kind of back in. Like, we're here to defend our major ally, like the most powerful ally we have. He's asking for our support, and we kind of better answer the call. Otherwise, who knows if we're still allies? Um, we've done a lot to help Nibene, and
I have
go
a
ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
Is there any way, because you just kind of mentioned Hamanu might be impartial towards helping the cause. Is there any way we can look into having him help us in terms of
Whoa.
having my personal connection with Nibene, bringing in someone who's a good talker like Soul, and Nibene fostering a meeting with Hamanu.
Hamanu and Nibene would work together? What?
The problem is the Sorcerer Kings all hate each other. Getting together, teaming up to kill Dragoth was like a one-time thing, and they immediately started bickering amongst each other afterwards.
Besides being evil, why do they hate each other so much?
They're all evil backstabbers, and they all want to one-up each other.
But hear me out. This is not a new threat. This is the threat that they teamed up on
Already.
before.
That's
This is
fair.
Dragoth.
That's true.
I mean, you can send people to do diplomacy, or you could go yourself and ask him.
No, that's what I'm saying. Would Nibene be willing to reach out to Hamanu and foster a meeting on neutral ground, or allow us
talk, of
to
course.
like an amnesty, like, hey, we're allowed to go to what's Hamanu's city again? Gold?
Correct.
No, wait.
Alright.
Correct.
Ulrich? Yeah, we can get a free pass to go to see Hamanu, and he's not going to capture us again.
I thought for sure if we ever went
An
back
audience,
to
a diplomacy audience with him.
Uruk, we were gonna go bathed in blood of Urukites.
He is pretty
Like-
mad that you killed all of his high-level agents. That pissed him off a bit.
Exactly. I feel like if we ever set
gonna
foot
justify
there
that.
again,
He also suspects you
It's
stole
gonna
a
be a
big ruby
bloodbath.
from his room. That might have pissed him off a little bit.
oh yeah, that was me, wasn't it? Was
No,
that me?
No, no, that was me.
Oh, that was you. That was. Well, look. Either way,
it's my precious.
I don't see how, like, I don't see how we would work with Hamanu.
It's to kill Dragoth, dude. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I mean, it was an admirable argument. You know, you really opened my eyes there. But and I think this is great that we're kind of sitting around a table, you know, in some bar of Tyr discussing all of this, you know, in a shadowed room, candlelight flickering, you know, discussing the fate of the tablelands here.
So would Taurus actually hire a messenger to go to Uruk and deliver the message to Hamanu of Uruk that Nibene could use assistance in fighting Dragoth? Do you want to send all that information to Uruk?
If Nibene
Wait,
is
whoa,
okay
whoa,
with
whoa, right? Because Niven is gonna be like, "Hello, we're
Yeah.
broadcasting. My pants are down right now."
I would like to discuss with Nibene personally the idea using my intelligence and my horrible charisma, but Nibene kind of understands me. I hope.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
go ahead and
he
stop you
sees
before
it as
you
an
run off.
idea.
Right.
Okay, so I'll make a note. Talk to Nibene first.
Yeah, I'll talk to Nibene first and see if he'd even entertain the idea.
Well, we could run
Yeah.
that now. We could roleplay that now.
Yeah, can we roll that?
Would they be receptive
no
if we wrote a
role-play,
letter?
roll.
Would that seem more I don't know, royal, regal? I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can read in this universe, so it seems like something high class. We write a letter.
Like I say, I mean, I feel like Nibene's smart enough to realize that he has a war on multiple fronts, and you know, at the least, getting Hamanu on his side will prevent them from going to Hamanu to bring Hamanu against Nibene.
I mean, they're pretty far away though. Like Dragoth's army and the
I don't
Was
see
it
it that
the-
way.
All right. So
Because Dragoth would have been like marching out of the Underdark right when we left him, and then we went off and took care of the.
yeah. So Dragoth is pretty much already at Nibene.
Right. That's where I'm saying. Like, this is happening now.
I don't know. It's up to Ninja. But if we like, Umanu is not an option right now. Maybe in the future, but
Dragoth has not expanded outside the reach of Giustanel yet. He is consolidating his power and rebuilding his palace.
and Umanu, the thing though is like we might be able to be an ally one day, but to be honest, like we don't have any.
Ally.
We don't have a way right now to approach him. Right now we are on his dead list. You know what I mean? We would have to rebuild our relationship with them. Also try to find a way to make peace between Tyr and his city. So
Well,
that would probably
the-
require some sort of an arrangement and an agreement, you know, to bring down like the tension before we can
I'll
even
argue
think
this.
about.
His goal and our goal were the same. He just wanted his people to do it, right?
Well, you wanted
Which
to take
was,
over Tyr,
Well, I'm not talking about
First.
that.
and then
I'm talking about-
we beat his army, and then after that, he wanted to use us after we got caught.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be honest.
Do you remember what we were? Do you remember the mission was though? It's like,
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I
just
don't.
in
I don't know.
general,
What was the mission again? That we were racing them to get to.
That was
Charvas
the
or
one with
whatever?
the psionic
Matrix.
being affected.
Sign
Oh,
Matrix, and
oh yeah,
that's
okay,
one-
okay. The
and that's
Cyanatrix.
one that I still am not sure if we were on the right side with. Like, Pack the
So-
Thinkmaker kind of convinced me a bit. I mean,
So-
if he had, go ahead.
Hamanu wanted the Cyanatrix destroyed.
Right.
We did that. We did that, not his people. We did that, and we found
Yeah.
out that his
Templars fell
lead
apart.
guy. Well, his lead guy was actually an infiltrated person. Do you remember?
Oh, I
His
did forget
lead
about
guy
that.
he sent was an infiltrated person. We killed him, because he was trying to save the Cyanatrix after all. And he betrayed his whole team, which were Hamanu's people. We didn't
So
just kill his people.
in the Dragon's Crown final battle, they were in the room with the Cyanatrix because they had all been mind controlled and dominated. When you go up against epic level psionic sorcerers, it's pretty easy to be, mind controlled into doing almost anything. Like they just, anybody that didn't have powerful psionic defenses, rewriting their memories was just all too easy.
So showing if Hamanu he's done this before where he read into our minds, right? He could do that again, and he can see that, everything would have been gone to shit if we wouldn't have saved everything. So he may feel, what do you call it? Like he
Upset.
may feel like, yeah, like we actually did something for him, you know. Just
There is.
saying. I mean, there's a lot to this more than just, we pissed him off and killed his people. We actually saved the world and accomplished his bidding. And yeah, and the whole killing his people, we were forced to because his lead person was actually infiltrated by the Cyanatrix people.
It's a pretty strong argument. I think it'll depend on who you send to deliver the message. Like somebody who is persuasive enough to say it the right way.
This is one we'd have to ask Saul if he would be willing to do, because I would go with him for this. But yeah,
I'd go with him too, but I'd float underground.
Yeah, I couldn't make that roll. Period.
So you might want to start with a messenger and say, "Hey, we want to meet without combat or capture happening for a diplomatic meeting between cities, to have some sort of level of protection. Get assurances that you won't be immediately arrested and killed, right?"
Well, that's okay. So that's what I want to do. Can we do that as part of our thing we're doing tonight?
Yeah, that can be. Well, so you could send the letter as the downtime, but I do want to kind of do some of this sequentially. So while you're still in town, there's definitely some things that have gone undone in the district where all of the armor and weapon shops are. The manufacturers, they're making weapons for Nibene that the merchant houses are going to take there. But that's going to take a long time because they're using slow mechalot caravans. You guys have an airship.
Well, wait, we're in tier right now still, right?
You're still in tier. That's what I'm saying. So sequentially, while you're in tier, you may want to fill your cargo hold with as many armor and weapons as you can afford to buy, since you're going to Nibene anyway.
Now, we're going to get paid for that. This is not necessarily a humanitarian thing. We're just giving weapons to Nibene.
Yeah, we're not doing shit for free here,
No, this would be like a trade thing. You buy them here, and then you sell them at a higher marked up price when you get to Nibene. Because the market in Nibene needs weapons because they're fighting 3 wars.
Supply and demand.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. Like, if we split the expense, we can split the profit at the end.
So you buy every scrap of weapon that there is, pretty much. And
Yeah, armor, weapons, and maybe other resources that we know Nibene could use. They are like on the world map. I think didn't you have like something that was showing like the resources that Nibene tends to consume and buy from the outside.
Yeah, you have that over. Well,
I'll
actually, I
open
think
it up.
it's
Hold on.
yeah. It was on the Discord.
That could help us. Like maybe we can get a cargo of other material and then just sell it at profit. If it's something that we produce for cheaper in tier,
There you
which
go.
probably would be like higher end or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe there's something else.
Gold, iron, spices, lives. No, that's what they import. Never mind.
Yeah,
He
that's their
has
import.
he has wood, copper, and rice.
Yeah, but we're bringing in to them to sell at profit.
Oh yeah, yeah, no question.
So I don't know about spices. Maybe we do have spices in tier.
Wood.
Livestock, you have livestock. Iron is one thing, but that's we would have to buy and that would be expensive.
Well,
But we could
remember
sell at profit.
we wanted wood for that. Now we need a big shipment of wood for that smokehouse, the barbecue. Right?
Yeah, well, we can buy that and sell it for profit in tier.
Yeah.
Is that something that tier imports?
Imports
Uh,
wood, yeah.
That's Hurricane looking at. Where's tier?
Because we don't go
Wood,
over the
wheat, cloth, slaves. Slaves?
not anymore. Well, actually, no, we probably buy them and free them still at this point. Okay. Well, I think that's a good plan. The problem is that once we sell, I kind of feel like we need to put the wood on layaway because we're going to be using the ship for military purposes once we get here. Actually, wait a minute. So, as you said, Dragos coming from Guisanel across the Black Mountains, and the Black Mountains are full of the Gith Raiders. And then to the southwest is the Oba of Gulg. So it's more like two fronts, I guess. But I kind of feel like the Gith are almost interposed, like helping us out. I mean, yeah, they'll get turned into dragons, but they'll also kill a bunch of Guisanel's forces too.
It's kind of hopeful thinking, assuming that they're strong enough to do that.
Well, if they're as organized as it sounds, then they're capable of doing something. So I'm almost loath to even kill these as many Gith as possible, because if they're going to go ahead and I mean, if they're going to be going up against Nibene, then yeah, we want to take out some of those. But if they're going east to try and raid, then nah, that's fine. If they're going, well, they're not going to go south. There's nothing there. If they go north to Ram, no, that's not great. They're trying to stabilize Ram. I don't know. The only real place to raid is Nibene, so that most of their stuff is going to be going to there to get stuff. Because Guisanel's got nothing to take, really. Unless you go way deep down, they're not going to do that. And then the only place nearby to go after... Oh, Cromlin. Cromlin still exists. Maybe? Maybe Cromlin got wiped off the map by the Gith.
What are these circles?
Sphere of influence,
Oh,
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of defining where the areas of control are. So, over here, this pink sphere is where the Golgan Raiders are attacking. So there's constant skirmishes in the Crescent Forest between Nibene and Gulg, because those Golgan Raiders are just trying to take slaves and materials and mechalots, whatever they can get. They're out here doing their thing. To the east, the Gith are a real problem for Nibene and for Ten Pug's Temple. I should indicate where that is. It's like, hang on.
I'll be honest. I kind of care more about Cromlin than I do about Nibene, but Nibene is an ally, so we should care about him. But I really want to try and keep Cromlin from being overrun, if that's even possible, considering they're in quite a shit sandwich there.
All right, so the biggest threat right now is to Ten Pug's Temple. And Rexkin has come here to request you come and help them, because they are right on the front line. They're dealing with the Gith. He says that the Gith are setting up their forward operating base right here.
And I forget what Tenpug what did we do with Tenpug? I know we helped him in some way. I forget what happened with him.
Ten Pug's Temple is where you met the dwarf, who asked you to recover his caravan that was lost in the silt out by Gustenel. It's also where you met that dude who his girlfriend had died and everybody blamed it on him.
But he's a really amazing bard.
So he's a member of Ten Pug's band. Like he would be there or in Cromlin, one of those two places. He goes back and forth between there.
He still has his loyal.
Yep, him and his loyal band. But
Okay.
supplies going to Cromlin come through Ten Pug's Temple, and so Cromlin will be cut off by these Gith raiders if they take the region. And then Cromlin will be eaten by Dragoth, because his sphere of influence is expanding towards Cromlin.
How big is Cromlin? I mean, is it time to just evacuate Cromlin?
Cromlin has thousands of people there, I believe.
It might be time to just say, you know what, pack your bags, everybody. If you stay, you're not going to survive. This seems like an event like that. This seems like an earth-shattering event for them. Like, there's just no freaking way.
It says, originally a trading post created by House Sham, the village of Cromlin has prospered. Village implies, like, I don't know, 15,000? Maybe less. Maybe.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm not saying that your numbers are wrong. I'm just saying that that's a lot from...
That'd be like a
Us
modern
doing-
village, but in Dark Sun it would probably be a lot less.
Well, but I'm saying for my goals of trying to relocate, you know, make the whole village refugees. I don't know.
Cromlin is a haven for smugglers, slavers, pirates, and elves. Yeah. No, what city's gonna take them in? Nibene?
Well, if it's elves, I mean, Silver Spring can handle a little more, but not that many more people. Silver Springs would dry up if you put that many more people on there.
They could go across the Bay of Moray to Rom. Try their luck in Rom.
That would be ridiculous. It's like, let's jump out of... I mean, not out of the frying pan into the fire. It's not worse, but it's not a whole lot better.
Well, considering how Sham runs Cromlin, they might have holdings inside the city in Rom. So there is some
Oh.
connection there.
Okay, well, I guess that's a thought. Okay, well then what we need to do is like wheel around some silt fleets to try to evacuate freaking refugees of Cromlin, because there's just no... I don't see any way that they're going to survive like the month. we've got like a roll of vellum out on a table, and dawn is creeping out over the horizon, and we've been discussing the tablelands all night.
Yep. Battle strategies for the Great War. So, let's see. You guys are gonna take the airship, and you're gonna fly in a straight line from Tyr. Are you gonna go to Nibene first? I think that's what the plan was, right?
Right, guys?
Yeah, most likely.
And I'll create like a flight path plan, figure out the logistics, and if there's any encounters. Going from here to here. Bam. Let's see. To Silver Springs is like 70 miles, 80, 90. It's like 100 miles. I think it takes you 3 days to fly there. So
Alright.
once you actually do load the cargo hold with all your merchandise, all your weapons and armor that you can buy, then you'll begin flying out over the alluvial sand wastes. Rexkin's going to tag along. He's going to join your crew on your airship. He'll reveal to you, since you're members of the Veiled Alliance and heroes of Tyr, and wizardry is acceptable in Tyr, he will reveal that he is an arcane trickster. He'll tell you a
Nice.
little bit about himself. He basically is a bard, but he also does a little bit of pickpocketing. He's got some minor psionic abilities. He's real good with minor telekinesis. He can pick pockets with his little mage hand. You can't even see it. It's so subtle.
Sounds a lot like myself a little bit.
But he's pretty young and inexperienced. He's a little bit squishy, so if trouble arises, it might be tricky to keep him alive.
Can we bring both airships on this trip? Because we're gonna need to have all the logistical power we can muster.
You'd need a crew for the other airship. I don't think you have that figured out yet. Do you want to hire a crew before you head over to Nibene? And then
Yeah,
take
we need
both
a crew,
ships?
and we got to figure out as well the clerics and the levels of them.
Okay, let me make some notes here.
Do you want me to create the clerics?
The levels of the clerics. Yeah, there's some guidelines for doing that comes from one of the D&D books for making like groups. I forget which one. But yeah, you basically just need to find out what the levels of everything is, and what equipment they're equipped with, just so you have some basic stats for them.
Mm-hmm.
So determine the levels of the clerics and hire crew for the larger airship. And another thing on the to-do list, make a spreadsheet for the... What are we calling the new airship? Let's call it a dreadnought. I love that word, dreadnought. Sounds so cool.
What, for the ship?
Yeah, the big war airship.
Yeah, that worked.
Alright. Make a spreadsheet for the dreadnought, similar to the other airship, and fill it with a crew, and then, yeah, they could... do you want to be on that ship instead of the other ship?
I think we need to split up. Have us both, a few of us on one ship, a few of us on the other ship.
I don't know. We do have our roles on our own ship right now that we serve. I think the other one was to be autonomous for the most part.
Okay.
Because
so-
we we have I gotta pilot our ship pretty much, and then we have a captain already selected. We have somebody on Like everybody has a responsibility on it, I think.
All right. So you'll stay on this ship, and you'll hire a new crew for the other ship. I've got lots and lots of notes. So Rexkin's going to tell you that in a pinch in combat, he likes to use these daggers. He's got these lucky daggers, and he's going to juggle them as a performance. He rolls a 2. He cuts himself, and he drops one of the daggers.
They don't seem too lucky to me.
Hilarious. I'm gonna have to snigger on that. Hey, do you think we could stop off in Silver Springs? I really wonder if we could. Well, I'll pay for it to hire. They've got some merchant, some wagons or some mechalots maybe. I've got some kanks we can start working our way over, but that's
So
quite a
Nibene
distance.
probably has a bunch of mechalots because they're right by the Mechalot Mountains. Probably not something you need to bring.
okay.
And yeah, you
So we can
definitely could
hire-
stop in Silver Springs. It's right on the way.
But if they're not going to have much logistical capability to take a bunch of refugees out of uh, Tempug's Temple, we could probably take out just with one of our ships. Like, I don't know how many people are on Tempug's Temple, and then they'll just want to try and take, artifacts or, tapestries or the important treasures that are in temples usually.
There's only a handful of named NPCs, but I'm pretty sure it's implied to be a major trade. What do you call it? Like a trading post
Sure.
on the way to Cromlin, and so there's probably at least 100 people there, I would guess.
Yeah.
Although it might be less if it's been so dangerous that merchants couldn't get out that way or refused to go out that way, then it would probably be a bit of a skeleton crew of just the diehards that live there.
I kind of figure, not quite scorched earth, toppling it over, but just taking everything that is of exceptional value and leaving the rest. The gift can take it, save the people. Once this all blows over, if it blows over, we can return to Tempug's Temple and reclaim it. But that's where I kind of see this is going.
All right. So you're siding with the people that want to flee and evacuate. That is one of the factions at Tenpug's Temple when you get there. Rexkin will tell you that there's been a lot of debate between the groups of people. Some want to stay and fight. Others are, cowards and they just want to run away. So Rixkin is on the side of those who want to fight. He has all these stories of glorious war in his head that he's heard from his Bard College days, and he wants to get involved himself in some great conflict and war. He's never seen the downsides of war,
Right.
and so he still thinks that it's really glorious. But
Well,
he will say that the others are not so sold on the idea.
Orin is going to start telling him this 3-day journey, just a couple of the more unsavory things he's been asked to do in service to Altaruk. Times when they declare martial law again, and he's had to beat an old lady, or even a young lady, who refused to, pick up her feet faster. And he wishes he could go back to that time and not be given to the pressure, the peer pressure, and orders that he was asked to do. And that's not even when we were at war. When you're at war with the giants in Altaruk, you see people just torn in half. The
All
blood
right.
spattering your face, your entrails dripping over your shoulder.
He rolls an insight. 1. He's like, ah, no, that can't be true. War is awesome. Terrible
Just wait,
insight.
you'll see. You'll see. Yeah. So
While you're traveling, he tells you tales of various people from Ten Pug's temple, so that maybe you'll care about his friends a little bit more. He'll say how Ten Pug is the best leader that they've ever had. He really seems to care about everybody. The old one-armed curmudgeon. He's a strict boss, but he makes sure that everybody's safe, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. You might be interested in Sala. Sala's a halfling water priest. You said you were looking for priests from different religions. Sala's a weird one, though. Not too fond of the halflings myself.
she's a halfling that's not fond. Oh no, this is him saying that.
Raxkin is an elf.
Right. He's saying this.
Elves tend to be a little bit racist. He doesn't like halflings.
Well, I gotta say, Raxkin, I think that the real glory is saving as many people from Cromlin as you can, because the war we had down in Guistanel, and the war that's coming for us now, it's too much. It's too much for your temple. It's too much for Cromlin. We're going to try to bring the people to Nibene and maybe beyond that, but we'll see what we can do. But Cromlin is going to fall, the way I see it.
Yeah. Tragic. The people of Cromlin, where are they gonna go?
Well, you want to be a hero? Here's how.
All right. Well, he's in. He's already joined the party. He's here for the evacuation, if that's what it comes to.
I'll tell you what, if I was Dragoth, and there was a town on the way to my destination with more supplies and weapons and slaves and possible conscripts, that's where I would go.
So, when you're traveling by airship, do you just have a shift during the night, or do you park the ship and rest?
Well, there's no reason not to have a shift in the night and keep flying, right?
Okay. In that case, as you're flying during the night, you'll have disadvantage on the spot check here.
You guys still here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
I'm a
your
little
spotter's
fast,
not going to
okay.
notice that there are cloud rays nearby, and one of the cloud rays takes an interest to your ship.
Not these fucking things again.
I was too busy with Junithu. I didn't see.
With whom?
Junithu, the elven cook.
She's down in the hold making delicious stew. You don't know
Yeah.
Junithu and Junithu's stew?
Yeah, I heard she gives some great hand jobs too.
You heard. I was quiet.
I think you were quiet.
You forgot about the telepathic link we have, you know?
Jeez. I didn't notice it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Alright, so I'm not going to do it this week, but next week we can start out with airship versus cloud ray battle.
Woo!
Interesting.
Let's see if you can survive without crashing your airship in the middle of the alluvial sand wastes. That would suck. Cloud Ray is a formidable enemy, but you fought them before. You can take them out in a couple turns if you focus fire, so we'll see how it goes.
That's
Fly
where we're
to
ending it.
Yeah. Any comments? Any questions? Any last minute things before I close the stream?
You good?
Ready to test out double concentration spells. Bring on the Cloud Ray.
One little thing, Ninja.
Yeah.
Do you think this week you'll have a chance to maybe look into those 4 items that I heard about? That I got some.
For sure. It's on my list of things to do.
And then the other thing I put in, like I wanted to during that downtime, I forgot about that, but I wanted to equip that fire giant with some equipment, but there's no gear for giants.
Right.
Would it be possible to get something made for that fire giant and maybe find some magical like items, like basic weapons and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put something
sure
together.
The list did have some weapons on it.
Yeah,
that
but
are
for
giant
giants
size.
specifically.
Yeah, there's
okay.
some.
What can they carry? What size weapons?
One size larger. Let me do a search here. Giant. 20 entries. All right, let's see what we got. We've got...
It's a fire giant, so it'll have a pretty high strength.
Okay, here's one. Shitty Elm Club. 1,650 ceramic pieces. A brown tinted weapon, polished to a shine. You have to be aligned to evil to activate it. It has 0 of 6 charges. It regains 1 charge once per day. Creatures within 5 feet of you must make a con save DC 10 or become nauseated by the stench of your shitty elm club.
I don't know if she's evil. Like, I don't know her alignment.
It's a spiky club. It does bludgeoning and piercing damage. Boy, that's nasty. It's a poop-covered, spiked baseball bat built for a half-giant. That would just be terrifying.
But it needs to be evil, though, to be worth it.
But for half-giants, they can flip-flop. So if they admire an evil person, their alignment can shift, and then they could equip it.
Well, she's a full giant, though.
Oh yeah, the fire giant. Fire giants
Yeah.
are already evil.
Is she evil?
I think they're all evil.
Okay. We'll have to look into that. And then there's the 4 items. There's and I think that's about it. for me, at
D&D
least.
Beyond says lawful evil, the whole race.
All right. And I'll have the other fire giant that's working in that forge making some armor for, I guess. I got 2 fire giants now.
Here's another one, the Agafari Tonfa of Earth Doom. A brown wavy weapon that flashes with magenta sparks if struck. You have to be a druid to use it, so you'd need to find a half-giant druid. That's not going to work.
That's gonna be crazy.
I like tonfas. They're kind of
Does
cool.
one even exist?
Not that I
I
know
think we
of.
found any.
Nah, we haven't found any.
Oh.
You gain advantage on saving throws against Earth Cleric spells when striking anything tied to the elemental plane of Earth. This weapon deals an extra 3d8 thunder damage and causes the
Wow.
cracked condition, which makes a creature vulnerable to physical damage types.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. 8,660 ceramic pieces. Sold
Alright,
by
could you-
Grondor the Half-Giant Blacksmith.
Can you close the table and I'll save it before I forget?
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
I'll catch you guys later.
See you next time.
Night.
Night.
Alright. Thanks for watching out there in Twitch land. Ending the stream. Good night.